Alright, so what's up everybody on YouTube? How's everybody doing? I'm doing just fine. Doing awesome actually. So today, welcome back to another Blondskunk's Building World episode. It's been a little bit since the last one. I think it's been about 2 weeks or so. But that's okay because I've now graduated from high school and I'm able to focus on doing videos. I have more free time, of course, on my hands. And a lot of that free time is going to be going towards building in this world. It's going to be going towards building an afterlife and just catching up on YouTube in general. I know in the last 3 weeks it's been a little bit of just slacking off on the videos, but I can promise you that was for a good reason nevertheless. So, first of all, we didn't really start out with the intro this video. I basically just went ahead and edited in a time-lapse that I pretty much just did on the spot. I was not thinking of doing a time-lapse in this episode, but I thought it would be a cool idea for this area specifically because I always find like areas near like water, and if it's gonna have a docks, time-lapses tend to be a little bit cooler because then you kind of get a sense for different like little builds here. You can see like we have the docks here, we have the Apple Ale Tavern sitting off to the side of the pier. And if we take a closer look here, you can see all the little details. So that's kind of what I wanted to do for right now at least. So yeah, as you can see, so it basically just connects up to this path. Now, what's really cool about this is you would think that I was going to make the docks come off of this area here, like this area over here. But I decided, since we're going to have like a little sort of deck area over here, a little sort of a walkway that's going to wrap around this Apple Ale Tavern, we might as well just make the docks extend off of here. And I think I like this a lot better. And I really like it because it doesn't connect over here. It makes it feel separate. Like this is the docks area, this is the apple farm itself. So you just kind of, turn your screen a little bit. Two different areas going on here, and it doesn't feel so connected. Plus, I feel like it would be a little weird if we just extended a docks off of here. More of it now sort of has this natural little bend and then extends off into this docks area. So yeah, looking really cool. And we have a lot of little details going on here. Now, I wanted to show you what I did here with the walls of this building specifically because I didn't do it over here. But normally what I do for my buildings, and we'll take a look at that farmhouse over here just to see what we're looking at. You can see that I just do stone brick and cobblestone as my base stone all around the building. There's nothing else. It doesn't have a random texture. It's not randomized or anything. But for this build, I wanted to try something a little different. I wanted to go out on a limb and use all the different types of blocks that look like stone. Or maybe the gray, we could just say it gray blocks, because we have concrete powder in here, we have cracked stone brick, we have andesite, we have polished andesite, cobblestone of course, and stone brick itself. And I really feel like this gives it a cool look. Now, for those of you that are familiar with the BAA texture pack, this sort of styling is going to be very similar to the BAA texture pack because the BAA texture pack does this on its own. Like, if you place down a cobblestone block, the texture, like every fourth one will be different, or they'll be different in all, and then it'll go back to normal cobblestone texture. You know what I mean? So this is basically without the BAA texture pack what I interpret it to be like, because I don't normally like using texture packs. Actually, I don't use texture packs at all. I tried making my own back in the day, or a year ago or so. I don't want to say back in the day because it sounds like a while ago, but I tried a little bit ago to make my own texture pack, and I wasn't really feeling it. I felt like I was sort of cheating the game in a way, even though it is there. I understand that it is an option in the game. I like the challenge of using the default textures to really make something incredible, and I feel like I achieved that very, very well. Let me know if you guys agree in the comments below. But I find it to be more fun to build with the default texture pack. I don't it's not that I'm against using texture packs. I love texture packs. I love the creativity behind them and what people can do with some texture packs. Like the Conquest texture pack, for example, uses, I think, metadatas to use a whole bunch of variety of blocks that you wouldn't even imagine being in this game, but they're in the game, and you can use those and to create some fantastic buildings, very high detail buildings. So that's your building style. I recommend that texture pack to you. And also the building BOO texture pack makes a builder's life, I would say, a lot easier, because it adds just so much stuff that isn't in the game that I think should be in the game. Certain things like wheat, for example, is a very yellow, almost like this sort of yellow color in the game right now. Not even that. It just sort of looks ugly. Like the wheat just doesn't look too great. But with the BOO texture pack, it changes it so it's nice, a nice little tan sort of color wheat, and it resembles more of the realistic wheat texture in real life. And I think that's really, really cool. So yeah, texture packs are definitely a thing I would like to try in the future. And I have tried texture packs from time to time. But what I'm saying is if we ever wanted to do a texture pack again in this world, like make our own or whatever, I'm all for it, you know? So if that's a thing you guys would like to see, let me know. But for right now, I think we're just going to stick to the default textures because, as I said, it's a challenge to build with the default textures. You're given these textures to build. And I guess you could say that for the same, for the texture packs that are out there. But a lot of texture packs can either make it easier, make your builds look way better, you know. I know some texture packs, like if you build a cobblestone tower, it'll randomize it for you. Like it'll just build a solid block cobblestone tower. You add the texture pack on, and then you're pretty much good to go in that sense. Like, because it'll just have a variety of different textures within that one cobblestone block. So those kind of texture packs, I really feel like it's not really building. But for those of you that have a hard time with building, might like those texture packs because, well, they sort of help you with that randomization that some people find hard to do. So that's something to keep in mind. And it is still building. Don't get me wrong. It's still, you know, a type of building that is out there and that you definitely can achieve by just having a texture pack on. Because some people might look at this and be like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do this, you know, or whatever. Which you can. You definitely can. It's not anything hard. You're just sort of picking out where you want it. So for like this wall specifically, I was looking at it and I was like, okay, so I got this gray concrete powder. I want to add another gray concrete powder up in here because I really like the texture of this. I really feel like it goes well with the stone. So I was looking at it. I'm like, where could this go? Now I could have put it down here. I could have put it up in this corner, but I felt like having 2 blocks on one side wasn't too great. So what I did is I just shoved it up in this little corner here, and it gives a little touch of it, so it sort of doesn't leave this one block alone. You know what I mean? Because in comparison to the stone, it contrasts very well. So I need to have a little bit more of it in there because I think it looks really nice. So, and you can see it more over here as well, which is really cool. So what we're working on now is we're just working on getting this sort of pathway worked out. I really like how this is starting to flow and everything. I really like how this flows around. It sort of winds up the bend here, and we have this little lookout area over here, which I think I'm going to add a little bench in here, and so you can kind of like look out over the ocean sea, which is really, really cool. And I keep seeing that mountain over there. That is a mountain that I want to build on so bad. But it is in the savannah, so it might not be too good. We'll have to see what happens. But yeah, so we're working on getting this path coming up here. I don't know if we're going to work on the bridge today. I don't know how long this episode's been going already, but yeah, I think what we're going to do now is we're going to head over, get ourselves some resources just by middle mouse clicking. And I'm going to talk to you guys about another thing that I've been sort of messing around with in this game as well. Not just, you know, messing around with just different stone textures and all that stuff, and just messing around with building skills in general. But I have been testing out these blocks called structure blocks. Now, you might remember these being added into the game a little bit ago, but they are something that I have not touched since they came out. And these things are the builder's dream, from my knowledge, because I've been messing around with them, and I'm surprised I haven't used them till now, because they've been around since 1.10, I believe, which was a while ago, if you think about it. So yeah, like, they've been around for a little bit, and I just started using them not too long ago, which is bad on my part. It's definitely bad on my part, because they are phenomenal blocks. Phenomenal blocks. Structure blocks are the builder's dream, to just have MC Edit in the game already for you. Is something that I think is great. Now, structure blocks aren't like really easier than MC Edit. I think they're a little bit more complicated, because you're not just typing in commands or whatever. But they are something that I think is cool nevertheless. Like, I think they're really neat. And but yeah, so I've just been messing around with them. I've never really messed around with MC Edit, so I don't have any experience with that. But I have done some little bit of research on structure blocks and getting that all figured out. And I absolutely love them now. I think they're great. I think structure blocks aren't necessarily, you know, cheating in a way. I think, well, in survival, yeah, definitely. But in creative, you know, I feel like people, you know, some people, like me, for example, I'd get a little bit of iffy about MC Edit builds because it doesn't feel as special. But now I understand it. Like, it still takes time to build with an MC Edit build, or build with a structure block build. It still takes a lot of time to do so, because you build bigger builds with the structure blocks and MC Edit and stuff like that. So you're able to achieve something a lot bigger in the end when it comes to buildings and stuff like that, which I think is really, really cool. So I guess structure blocks we're definitely going to be using in this world. This house right here, this little tavern, we could take a structure block to this thing and just copy and paste it somewhere else in our world. This little storage barn, if we wanted more storage barns, we can take the whole build, copy and paste it, and put it somewhere else. Like, if we wanted another one over there, perfect. We could do that. No problem. Just pick it up and move it. We don't have to build another one again. Now, I can understand, as I said, where some people could feel a little bit iffy about that. But for a creative world, for being, you know, always in creative, maybe we'll turn into survival one day. Of course, I'm not against that idea, but I think, because I think it would be cool to, at one point, to just go back and play Minecraft survival in a single player world. So I'm definitely up for that idea. But for now, while we're building and everything, I think it's a good idea just to stick on creative, and also just try out structure blocks, because I think it could be a really cool idea. And then plus, I would like to practice with them too. And this is the world I want to be building in the most. So I think that's going to be really, really cool. But I think I'm going to work on this off camera. I'm going to try to get this all situated. I like the way this is flowing up here a little bit. As you can see, this is something that's really going to have to work on a little bit, because it's sort of doing this little up and down effect that I'm not liking. I'm going to randomize it a little bit, so we'll see what happens here. I'm going to bring this path down here, and also I'm going to have like little foliage and trees that go along here. Maybe a little pond off to the side with a little waterfall flowing down. I don't know if that'll make too much sense, but yeah, maybe we could have it, or nevertheless, little farmer's pond. He does a little fish pond there, so we'll see. But now we're going to head on over to my creative test world, where I test out different things and come up with new building styles and everything. This is the world where I can perfect it before I bring it over into this world or into Afterlife. Alright, so welcome to my creative test world. This is, as I said, the world where I test things and perfect my building skills before I bring it over into Afterlife, or bring the builds over into single player, or into my other world that we were just in, the Blondskunk's building world, as I should call it. Now this world has had a reset because I've had some problems with Minecraft as of late, not loading for me. So I've reset this world in sort of the idea of using structure blocks for everything in this world, and that's the plan. Now the castle that you're seeing in front of me was built completely with structure blocks. I've only used parts to build the whole thing, and I've gone back and I detailed it all. So not all the detail has been copy and pasted, but a lot of just the placing work has been done with structure blocks, and it's taken little to no time to build this castle, which would have took me about a week to do, block by block. It would have taken a long time, with life and everything in the middle of time, but it's taken me about, I guess, a day and a half to build, I should say, which is definitely better than an entire week. But I hope to get a little bit faster with these structure blocks, as I was just learning when I was building this castle. So over here is my sort of uneven square. It doesn't match up with the other squares. That's why I built it off to the side here. I was just testing out structure blocks that I sort of messed up on that square. So now I'm using that square for just building castle pieces and such. And if I want to add more of these squares, I can just add them off to the side here. But yeah, so these pathways that you see here have been built with structure blocks as well. I have a little chest over here where I store the NBT data pathway blocks. So whenever I take one of these out, as you can see, I just have to sort of place it down and it's all ready to go, ready for me. The way you do this is you basically hit Control and middle mouse click at the same time, and it'll create a NBT data of your structure block that you have. Now you can do that with signs, you can do that with furnaces, crafting, I believe with crafting tables. I'm not sure with crafting tables. Anything where you want to store the data within the block, or I think chests can do it. Shulker boxes, shulker boxes can do it. And you can also do it with these structure blocks, which is great because then you can just take out the pieces of whatever you want. Like, let's say that we want to take out a path of, our stone pathway turn. We just take out one of these and it's all ready to go for us. And you can see, now this might look like a bunch of rubbish if you haven't seen any of the structure block stuff, but trust me, if you look up a tutorial on YouTube, you will learn instantly how to do it, and you practice a little bit with them, you'll be able to create something like this for sure. Now all you have to do is create the towers for the build. So I created this small tower. Now this fits inside the height, this little tower here fits inside the height of the structure block height. So they only go up, I believe, 30 blocks, and I think this is a 30 block tall tower. So that's pretty tall. For a tower, that is pretty tall. If you think on terms of your Minecraft player, which is only 2 blocks tall, that is, that's pretty nice. So you definitely get a lot of value out of these structure blocks and their height. Now this bigger tower I had to split into 2. So I cut it off here. I did one structure block up to this height right here, and then from this point and on up top I did another structure block, and I said, okay, so this structure block for the bottom half is going to be called large tower base, and I have that over there, which I'll show you in a minute. And then this will be called structure, or not structure block, but tower, I guess, like I said, large tower top 1. So yeah, and basically all I have to do is just align them perfectly and then put them together, and this is what we get over here, which is this castle, which is really cool. Sorry for the random cut there. My dog started acting up in the background. I didn't want to let you guys hear that too much. So, but what I was going to talk about was this wall right here, which is a 2x3 wall. And so you're able to create these simple little wall designs just like this, and then go back and make them look like this later on. So detail it later on. So you can just create simplicity first with the structure blocks, which I find to be easier if you do that with the structure blocks. So you can't copy detail over, I feel. So then you bring it over here into the actual build, And yeah, then you get something like this, and you detail it up, and it looks really nice. Now this whole entryway, I put 2 of these small towers in, of course, and then I just filled it in with the entrance here, and I think that looks really, really cool. Now over here, which was surprising to me that I could copy this whole thing, but I guess I could because it has the height up to our small wall here almost, so it's just 1 block above, and the height goes all the way up to there. So that's a nice little, I guess this tower is a nice little, gives me a nice little height sort of marker. I can just see, okay, well that's the height that structural blocks go up to, so anything above that is going to get cut off. But this big guy here, I was able to just copy this whole thing, and I've called it Castle Keep 1. And that's inside this castle over here, if you didn't notice. So I built it initially. Now it looks a little different from the castle inside the castle because I've decorated it up a little bit. But as you can see, this whole thing could, I think this whole thing I could copy and paste again, honestly, and it would all fit. I could like get the flags and all. But there you go. I mean, that's pretty cool. So this massive building, I'm able to copy. That is super cool. That is super cool. And I like that I can copy these big buildings, because now I never have to build a castle keep again. If you think about it, I never have to build that little inner castle bit again, because I could just take this one. Now, obviously, if I want to do something different, I'll say, okay, I'm obviously going to copy it, so I'll just do Castle Keep 2. Okay, so then I'll have another castle keep, and then I'll add another square onto this, and I'll just have all these little castle pieces all around this world. And this world isn't just for castles; it's for many different things. It's for like several different projects and all. But this is a good example of like what is the potential of these structure blocks, and I think they're going to be pretty cool. So for our other world, for our Blondskunk's building world, it's definitely going to be a good thing. So let me know what you think about these structure blocks, and I think that's going to do it for this episode today, guys. Tell me what you think of this castle here. I mean, I could try and copy and paste the whole castle and see maybe if I can bring it into our Blondskunk's building world, and maybe just have it in the world. That could be pretty cool. Why not? Like, I think that would be pretty interesting. Let me know what you guys think, though. And as always, don't forget to be awesome. And I will see you guys next time.